The Son of God is my identity. 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 What is sin? What is sin? What is sin? Sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. Sin is the home of all illusions which stand for things imagined, issuing from thoughts which are untrue. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. And yet what sin perceives is but a childish game. How long, O Son of God, will you maintain the game of sin? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today there is no sin, creation is unchanged. How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today there is no sin, creation is unchanged. Would you still hold return to heaven back? How long, O Holy Son of God, how long? How long, O Holy Son of God, how long? The Son of God is my identity. 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 Well, thank you so much for joining me in studying Lesson 252 in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students here on Saturday, September the 9th of 2023. The Son of God is my identity. I'm Willie, forgiveness teacher of the Ozarks, and we are ready for, like I said 252, but it's 252. The Son of God is my identity. Myself is holy beyond all thoughts of holiness of which I now conceive. Its shimmering and perfect purity is far more brilliant than is any light that I have ever looked upon. Its love is limitless with an intensity that holds all things within it in the calm of quiet certainty. Its strength comes not from burning impulses which move the world, but from the boundless love of God Himself. How far beyond this world myself must be, and yet how near to me and close to God. The Son of God is my identity. And the prayer says, Father, you know my true identity. Reveal it now to me, who am your Son, that I may waken to the truth in you and know that heaven is restored to me. What is sin? Our associated reading. Sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. And being mad, it sees illusions where the truth should be and where it really is. Sin gave the body eyes. For what is there the sinless would behold? What need have they of sights or sounds or touch? What would they hear or reach to grasp? What would they sense at all? To sense is not to know, and truth can be but filled with knowledge and with nothing else. The body is the instrument the mind made in its striving to deceive itself. Its purpose is to strive. Yet can the goal of striving change, and now the body serves a different aim for striving. What it seeks for now is chosen by the aim the mind has taken as replacement for the goal of self-deception. Truth can be its aim as well as lies. The senses then will seek instead for witnesses to what is true. The senses then will seek instead for witnesses to what is true. Sin is the home of all illusions, which but stand for things imagined, issuing from thoughts which are untrue. They are the, in quotes, proof that what has no reality is real. Sin, in quotes, proves God's Son is evil, timelessness must have an end, eternal life must die. And God himself has lost the Son he loves with but corruption to complete himself. His will forever overcome by death, love slain by peace, or love slain by hate, and peace to be no more. Oh, those are madman's thoughts. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. And yet, what sin perceives is but a childish game. The Son of God may play he has become a body, prey to evil and to guilt, with but a little life that ends in death. But all the while his Father shines on him and loves him with an everlasting love, which his pretenses cannot change at all. How long, O Son of God, will you maintain the game of sin? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today? There is no sin. Creation is unchanged. Would you still hold return to heaven back? How long, O Holy Son of God? How long? The Son of God is my identity. Okay, let's go look in our text reading for today. And we're in chapter 26, the transition. And we're ready for section 8, review and principles. Review of principles. And that'll start in paragraph 47. And while you're turning there, let me tell you about what's going on around the world. It's Ants Day. Bonds a Bottler Day, 9 of 9. Carl Garner Federal Lands Cleanup Day, and he was an engineer who helped design and build the Greer's Ferry Lake in Arkansas, and in 1959, and they needed some cleanup done there, and it just kept going, cleaning up. So it's Carl Garner Federal Lands Cleanup Day. Care Bear Share Your Care Day. Well, we want to share our care, huh? Farmers Consumer Awareness Day. Buy local. Buy from your local farmers best you can. That kind of goes back to when I was closing yesterday, I mentioned about how that I like to bring in some kind of plant or kind of encourage people to grow more, and not necessarily grow all your own food. I mean, that'd be a great goal, but that's not. Just being close to the land, growing some of your own food, growing food for your neighbors, just being connected with plants, I think is so important, because that gives us connection to the earth, which desperately needs our attention and healing. Farmers Consumer Awareness Day, German Language Day, International Buy a Priest a Beer Day, International Drive Your Studebaker Day, International Sudoku Day, and Sudoku puzzles are those 9x9 grid puzzles. National Clean Out Your Garage Day, National Day of Remembrance for Aborted Children. And I just want to mention that what has life has immortality, and everyone makes their own choices what's going to happen in their world, even the little ones who you think are so innocent, which they are. So are you. And regardless of what you've done in the past is over and it can touch you not. So take heart. Take heart that all is well. All is well. All is well. Always is. We learn to practice forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Forgive everyone. And come to know yourself and God. National Iguana Awareness Day, National Lace Making Day, that's the making of fabric, National Stake O Perverde. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that properly. I'm not much of a steak eater. And you don't have to be a vegan, and you don't have to grow food in order to get everything that you need out of A Course in Miracles. So don't let that. I just like to share who I am, but be sure that, I guess what I'm trying to say is that what our main objective here is to try to understand the teachings of Jesus in A Course in Miracles. And it doesn't have anything to do with what diet you eat and whether or not you grow food or not, is what I'm trying to say. National Teddy Bear Day. Prairie Day. Prairie Day is a George Washington Carver celebration. He was, which celebrates the Missouri Prairie of the 1800s. And over in Diamond, not far from where I'm at, is the George Washington Carver National Monument. And I think that they were kind of the instigators of what's called Prairie Day. Tester's Day. Wiener Schnitzel Day. Wonderful Weirdos Day. Everybody's unpredictable in some ways, and that might make them a weirdo. But we want to see that, usually the word weirdo is used in a derogatory way, but we want to learn to see that everyone's wonderful. So Wonderful Weirdos Day. And World First Aid Day, and that's put on by both the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Society. Okay, and then I want to tell you about another edible landscaping persimmon, Weber American Persimmon. It's a Diospyros virginiana, and Weber came to us from Alabama. It is an early ripening native persimmon with an enjoyable flavor, deep orange, almost red flesh. The fruit is larger than most native persimmons and ripens well before frost. Space 15-foot circles, zones 6 through 8, and it says perhaps even in zones 5. So that's your Weber American Persimmon. Now let's go look in our text reading in chapter 26, starting in paragraph 47, section 7, Review of Principles. This is A Course in Miracles, and as such, the laws of healing must be understood before the purpose of the course can be accomplished. The laws of healing must be understood. So we got something we need to understand here. Let us review the principles that we have covered and arrange them in a way that summarizes all that must occur for healing to be possible. For when it once is possible, it must occur. When healing is possible, it must occur. All sickness comes from separation. All sickness comes from separation. When separation is denied, sickness goes. When separation is denied, it goes. All sickness comes from separation. When the separation is denied, it goes. I'm kind of hanging out there because I really want us to make sure we take that one with us. All sickness comes from separation. When the separation is denied, it goes. Sickness goes. For it is gone as soon as the idea which brought it has been healed and been replaced by sanity. Sickness and sin are seen as consequence and cause in a relationship kept hidden from awareness, that it may be carefully preserved from reason's light. 48. Guilt asks for punishment, and its request is granted, not in truth, but in the world of shadows and illusions built on sin. The Son of God perceives what he would see because perception is a wish fulfilled. Perception changes, made to take the place of changeless knowledge, yet is truth unchanged. It cannot be perceived, but only known. What is perceived takes many forms, but none has meaning. Brought to truth, its senselessness is quite apparent. Kept apart from truth, it seems to have a meaning and be real. 49. Perception's laws are opposite to truth, and what is true of knowledge is not true of anything that is apart from it. Yet has God given answer to the world of sickness, which applies to all its forms. God's answer is eternal, though it operates in time where it is needed. Yet because it is of God, the laws of time do not affect its workings. It is in this world, but not a part of it, for it is real and dwells where all reality must be. Ideas leave not their source, and their effects but seem to be apart from them. Ideas are of the mind. What is projected out and seems to be external to the mind is not outside at all, but an effect of what is in, and has not left its source. 50. God's answer lies where the belief in sin must be, for only there can its effects be utterly undone and without cause. Perception's laws must be reversed, because they are reversals of the laws of truth. The laws of truth forever will be true and cannot be reversed, yet can be seen as upside down. And this must be corrected where the illusion of reversal lies. 51. It is impossible that one illusion be less amenable to truth than are the rest, but it is possible that some are given greater value and less willingly offered to truth for healing and for help. No illusion has any truth in it, yet it appears some are more true than others, although this clearly makes no sense at all. All that a hierarchy of illusions can show is preference, not reality. What relevance has preference to the truth? Illusions are illusions and are false. Your preference gives them no reality. Not one is true in any way, and all must yield with equal ease to what God gave an answer to them all. God's will is one, and any wish that seems to go against His will has no foundation in the truth. 52. Sin is not error, for it goes beyond correction to impossibility. Sin is not error, for it goes beyond correction to impossibility. Yet the belief that it is real has made some error seem forever past the hope of healing and the lasting grounds for hell. If this were so, would heaven be opposed by its own opposite, as real as it? Then would God's will be split in two, and all creation be subjected to the laws of two opposing powers until God becomes impatient, which God doesn't do, splits the world apart, and relegates attack unto Himself. Thus has He lost His mind. God has lost His mind, proclaiming sin has taken His reality from Him and brought His love at last to vengeance heels. For such an insane picture, an insane defense can be expected, but cannot establish that the picture must be true. Peace to such foolishness. 53. Nothing gives meaning where no meaning is, and truth needs no defense to make it true. Illusions have no witnesses and no effects. Who looks on them is but deceived. Forgiveness is the only function here and serves to bring the joy this world denies to every aspect of God's Son, where sin was thought to rule. Perhaps you do not see the role forgiveness plays in ending death and all beliefs that rise from mists of guilt. 54. Sins are beliefs which you impose between your brother and yourself. They limit you to time and place and give a little space to you, another little space to him. This separating off is symbolized in your perception by a body, which is clearly separate and a thing apart. Yet what this symbol represents is but your wish to be apart and separate. Forgiveness takes away what stands between your brother and yourself. It is the wish that you be joined with him and not apart. We call it wish because it still conceives of other choices and has not yet reached beyond the world of choice entirely. 55. Yet is this wish in line with heaven's state and not in opposition to God's will. Although it falls far short of giving you your full inheritance, it does remove the obstacles which you have placed between the heaven where you are and recognition of where and what you are. Facts are unchanged, yet facts can be denied and thus unknown, though they were known before they were denied. 56. Salvation, perfect and complete, asks but a little wish that what is true be true, a little willingness to overlook what is not there, a little sigh that speaks for heaven as a preference to this world, which death and desolation seem to rule. In joyous answer will creation rise within you to replace the world you see with heaven, holy, perfect, and complete. What is forgiveness but a willingness that truth be true? What can remain unhealed and broken from a unity which holds all things within itself? There is no sin, and every miracle is possible the instant that the Son of God perceives His wishes and the will of God are one. Every miracle is possible the instant that the Son of God perceives His wishes and the will of God as one, or are one. What is the will? Next paragraph, 57. What is the will of God? He wills His Son have everything, and this He guaranteed when He created Him as everything. It is impossible that anything be lost if what you have is what you are. This is the miracle by which creation became your function, sharing it with God. It is not understood apart from Him, and therefore has no meaning in this world. And the last paragraph we'll read today, 58, which will be about halfway through this section. Here does the Son of God ask not too much, but far too little. Here does the Son of God ask not too much, but far too little. He would sacrifice His own identity with everything to find a little treasure of His own. And this He cannot do without a sense of isolation, loss, and loneliness. This is the treasure He has sought to find, and He could only be afraid of it. Is fear a treasure? Can uncertainty be what you want? Or is it a mistake about your will and what you really are? Let us consider what the error is so it can be corrected, not protected. So we'll stop there, but let's keep that in mind. Here in this world does the Son of God ask not too much, but far too little. We were created as everything we see is part of us. Okay, the Son of God is my identity. Myself is holy beyond all the thoughts of holiness of which I now conceive. Its shimmering and perfect purity is far more brilliant than is any light that I have ever looked upon. Its love is limitless with an intensity that holds all things within it in the calm of quiet certainty. Its strength comes not from burning impulses which move the world, but from the boundless love of God Himself. How far beyond this world myself must be, and yet how near to me and close to God. Father, you know my true identity. Reveal it now to me who am your Son, that I may waken to the truth in you and know that heaven is restored to me. The Son of God is my identity. Be sure to do your 2 longer practice periods, meditation, morning and evening, for whatever amount of time suits you, but take a little time. And then throughout the day, try every hour of the day to give thanks to God and to remember, the Son of God is my identity. 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 What is sin? What is sin? What is sin? Sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. Sin is the home of all illusions which stand for things imagined, issuing from thoughts which are untrue. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. And yet what sin perceives is but a childish game. And yet what sin perceives is but a childish game. How long, O Son of God, will you maintain the game of sin? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today there is no sin, creation is unchanged. Would you still hold? Would you still return to heaven back? Would you still hold? Would you still hold? Return to heaven back. How long, O Holy Son of God, how long? How long, O Holy Son of God, how long? The Son of God is my identity. 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 The Son of God is all of our identity. All of creation is one with me as a Son of God. The Son of God is my identity. See yourself in your brothers and sisters. Let go of judgment. Find the holy peace of God today. The Son of God is my identity.